Hey, Dr. John Finn here. Welcome to the Habit Mechanic podcast. Right now, you can get my new best-selling book, Train Your Brain for the AI Revolution, at tougherminds.co.uk. The digital book, audiobook, and physical book are all available at a special price that you won't find anywhere else. Hello, Habit Mechanics. Dr. John Finn here. I hope you're having a fantastic week so far. So I've been travelling quite a lot the last few weeks. I've been up and down to London, giving talks, having meetings. And I've been speaking a lot about resilience. I think that it's come back onto the agenda, if you like. It's becoming a zeitgeist again. When we first started working with businesses with Tougher Minds about 15 years ago in the city of London, resilience was a zeitgeist idea back then. But I think that, and like all ideas, they come and go, but I think it's back on the agenda now because it's more important than ever before that we are really proactively looking after ourselves, but also looking after our people. And the thing that we need to understand when it comes to being resilient is that it's an outcome. And therefore, we need to focus on what is the process to being resilient. And that's what I want to talk through in this podcast. But I also want to frame in the context of I'm on my evening walk. You can probably hear some car noises in the background. And I'm doing this. This is part of my process to be resilient. So I am walking to, in a very high level way, cleanse my brain, so that I'm getting rid of some of the toxins that are in it. I'm walking just to process out some of the stresses that have been going on in my very hectic schedule at the moment. And this is how we need to start if we want to think about being more resilient or helping others to do the same. First of all, we can just ask ourselves a very simple question. How well did you do your best to be your best and achieve your goals yesterday? Or if yesterday's too far to think back to, just think about so far today. And you can give yourself a score out of 10. There's a very loud aeroplane flying over me, sorry. You can give yourself a score out of 10. 10 would mean you were perfect, and 1 would mean you failed. You're probably somewhere in between. I'm sure you're familiar with that scoring system now. That's how we do the T-plan, and it's a very flexible and a self-assessment mechanism. And whatever our score is, it is what it is. But it's a mirror into our resilience levels, because resilience is quite a simple construct to understand. It's got 2 parts. The first part is recognising whether the things you're doing are helping you to be at your best or getting in the way of you being at your best. And you may have seen the barcode concept that we created just to spotlight that there are only 2 kind of things that you're doing in any given moment in every 24-hour period. That's you're either doing things that are helping you to be at your best, to achieve your goals, or you're doing things that are unhelpful and they're getting in the way of you being at your best and they're stopping you achieving your goals. And if you've seen our presentation slides, the unhelpful things that we're doing are represented by the red lines, and the helpful things are the blue lines. In the book, in the Habit Mechanic book, it's obviously in black and white, so it's the colours are black and white, not red and blue. But what we're doing is we're thinking about the first part of resilience and whether we are being resilient or not. Because if there's red lines, it means we've got some room for improvement. Those red lines might be not sleeping well, worrying, and beating ourselves up too much, not being focused and productive, not being the leader or manager we want to be, not being the parent we want to be, whatever it is, not eating the right things, not exercising properly. So once we've recognised some of these unhelpful things, and also we can celebrate the things we're doing well. The next thing we need to do is go about trying to get rid of some of those red lines, and just one at a time. And that's ultimately the process to doing that, is using emotional regulation to build better habits. So that's what we mean by being more resilient. It's of recognising the helpful and the unhelpful things that we're doing, and then proactively getting rid of the unhelpful stuff by building more super habits. And so if we zoom out from that idea and think about the process to doing that, what we have to recognise is that our life, our family, our team, our organisation, there's a commonality between all of them. And that is, they are all being run by brains. So you are being run by your brain, your family is being run by everybody's brains, your team is being run by brains, your organisation is being run by brains. And brains have a very distinct set of operating rules. Brains are a physiologically adaptive system. They are designed for survival, and they have a preference for the behaviours they engage in. So what they pay attention to, essentially. And that can often be really unhelpful for our resilience levels, for us being healthy, happy and at our best in the world that we live in, because lots of the things our brain likes to do, like worry and make you aware of some of the unhelpful things that are going on, is not particularly helpful for our health, our happiness, our performance. And what we know is, we can see from big sets of data that it's harder than ever for people to get their brains working well. We can see that the National Health Service are predicting that, and this is in the UK, that in the not too distant future, 1 in 6 people, working age people, will have a long-term illness, cancer, anxiety, dementia, depression. We can see that this is UK data again, that there are currently over 20,000 people a month in the UK being signed off on the sick with anxiety and depression. So we've got all these very, very troubling statistics, and they're getting worse, because the things that we're doing to try and help people, they don't work. And they don't work because, and that includes tips, tricks, hacks. It also includes talk therapy, which is seen as the gold standard of helping people to do better, especially cognitive behavioural therapy. But we can see from big sets of data, like a new study came out quite recently showing that of 60,000 people that were in structured CBT interventions, for 58% of those people, the intervention had zero impact, no impact, zilch, nothing. And the reason this is the case is because all that stuff is doing is giving us more knowledge about what we need to do. So think more positively, use this stress management technique, eat 5 portions of fruit and vegetables a day, walk 10,000 steps. But we don't do what we know we should do. We do it in the habit of doing, of course. So if we actually want to become more resilient, then we need to build better habits to allow us to be resilient. And that's what the habit mechanics system is. And what it means to become a habit mechanic is that you understand how to coach yourself. So you become your own expert coach. That is the entire point of the system. It's how we deliberately designed it. I remember many years ago going to America, working for one of our clients, doing a week-long program, which included workshops, keynotes, coaching. It's for an investment managers. And at the end, my final talk of the week on the Friday, just before I was going to start, a guy came in that had been in a few of my sessions, and I'd done a one-to-one session, coaching session with him as well, and said, he shook me by the hand and said, "I just want to say thank you. You've changed my life," which I was delighted by, but also a little taken aback. And this guy had told me that he'd done a lot of therapy in his life. Almost all of his adult life he'd been in therapy. And I said, well, why is this being, we've only known each other a very short period of time. What's different about the Tougher Minds approach, the habit mechanic approach? And he said, you've shown me what to do differently. No one's ever shown me that before. And I've been trying these techniques this week and they work, and they're making me feel much better already. So that's what we strive to do. And I suppose the blueprint that we use, because resilience, although we can explain what it is, it can be quite intangible, and building better automatic and semi-automatic ways of thinking to help us to be resilient also feels quite intangible. The visual map that we use is the brain state. So we say, okay, well, if you want to be resilient, if you want to be at your best, you've got to learn how to become your own expert coach. But to help you to guide what you do and how you coach yourself, think about your brain has been a bit like a battery. There's only so much charge in it in every 24-hour period. And you've got these three charge states. You've got the recharge state, you've got the medium charge state, and you've got the high charge state. And of course, we unpack these in a lot of detail in chapter 25 of the habit mechanic. And we know that there's a really helpful ratio to use those brain states in every 24-hour period. So what we're doing is we're coaching ourselves towards getting a better balance of brain states, so we get the right amount of recharge, the right amount of medium charge, and that then frees up our clever, high impact, high charge brain states. And what our work shows over nearly 25 years now, working with over 20,000 people, is that when you get the better brain state balance, what it does is it frees up more time in your best high charge brain states, so that you can be at your best. Essentially, you can use your high charge brain states to do clever work at work, or you can use them to work on yourself so you can build a better sleep habit, whatever it is. So if we want to be more resilient, that's the journey that we need to go on. And what we're seeing is that, we've known for a long time tips, tricks, hacks don't work. But, the odd insight might be really powerful, but they're becoming less and less powerful because people are just so overwhelmed. We're in the attention economy and we're just bombarded. I see today that some states have taken out a lawsuit against TikTok, the lawsuit's about TikTok knowingly addicting teenagers to their platform. I mean, scarily, apparently half the teenagers in the US every day use TikTok. But they're saying, you know what you're doing, you're addicting them, and it's causing huge mental health issues. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. So we're overwhelmed, we're bombarded. So if we really want to do better, tips, there's nothing wrong with learning about some tips or something like that, but don't imagine that they're going to change your behaviour. The same with talk therapy. It's good to talk. We talk about this in the habit mechanic. It's almost phase one of processing stress. But ultimately, if you want to change your behaviour, not just for a minute or 5 minutes or an hour, but you want to make change permanent, you need to become a habit mechanic. That means you need to become your own expert coach. And that's what our approach is all about. And if you're minded to wanting to help other people, then once you've become your own expert coach, you can then help others to become their own expert coaches, so you can train them to become habit mechanics. So that's just me sharing a few reflections. So I don't think resilience is going away, and those who know how to do it, how to get those outcomes, are going to be in high demand. And those who know how to help others do it are possibly going to be in even higher demand. So as ever, thank you for listening. I hope it's got you thinking. Remember, I really unpacked the brain states in chapter 25 of the Habit Mechanic. You might want to revisit chapter 21 as well, which is the activation chapter, because brain states and activation are intertwined. More podcasts coming soon. If you have any questions, just let us know. You can let us know via the website, or you can actually text us just below the app. And yeah, remember, it might feel overwhelming to build a better brain state profile, but you just take one step. Just take one step. Maybe just start doing the T plan every day. That's a really good starting step, because as we say, you only have one habit away, because that next habit that you build could be one of those super habits that just unlocks so much more for you. Thanks for listening to the Habit Mechanic podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe and tell someone else about one of the ideas or insights that you found most interesting.